What's good, Commanders fans? I know a lot of Commanders fans are hyped and happy and excited that Dan Snyder possibly is selling the team. I think it's a good chance. I'm one of those people who don't believe it until I see it. I know everything points towards Dan Snyder selling the team. You know, he hired the Bank of America people to help him out or whatever. And I know there's some other investigations that are coming out. I don't know if the Mary Jo White investigation is finally being finished or what. I just haven't paid really detailed attention to it, but it just feels like it's finally going to come to an end where he's finally going to sell the team after 23 years. After 23 years, Dan Snyder, happy Thanksgiving. He's finally going to sell the team. But like I said, I'm one of those people with this situation. I'm not going to believe it until I finally see it. Of course, you know, Jeff Bezos, Jay-Z, Byron Allen. There's another guy whose name popped up that is interested in buying the teams. RG3 is interested in having minority ownership. I don't know how real or not that is, but of course, everybody's jumping at the bit to buy the Commanders because it's DC, man. The DMV area, it's a city that has a lot of potential. It's not even just potential, but just the city as a whole. You know, just DC, the nation's capital, just has a big name to it and rich history. You know, the 3 Super Bowls that we had. Just you look at the city, how expensive it is to live there. Just everything going on in the city. It's a beautiful city. It should just have a better sport. Every sport should be better. The Wizards, not just the Commanders, but the Wizards. The Caps are good. The Nats are pretty darn bad right now. But just as a sports town as a whole, there's so much potential with this fan base. We've been thirsty for a winning team for the last 23 years, a legitimate Super Bowl contender in a long time. And you see the parade for the Nationals. You saw the parade for the Caps, how lit this city and fan base can be. And we do deserve better. Now, look, ownership doesn't mean, just because you have a good owner doesn't mean you're going to win a lot of games. It gives you a higher chance, of course, but you can still have a bad owner. You just have a really good quarterback. You look at some franchises that have bad owners, but they just had a good quarterback to just come in and save that franchise. So like I said, just because we got a new owner doesn't mean we're going to start winning Super Bowls. But yes, it does put us in a better direction and just ethical, all the stuff that was going on in the workplace and all that. We're just going to have a better vibe and everything will be better. Or should be better than what it was under Dan Snyder. That's all I'm going to say on the situation. We'll see. It's a blackout game. We'll see if fans are going to come back and be lit because of the news or what kind of turnout is going to be. The atmosphere. Are they going to, be chanting sell the team? Of course, I think we're going to hear some chants of that. So I do think it's going to be a lit game. Of course, Kirk Cousins coming back to DC. There's a whole bunch of storylines that are going on. First and foremost, I do want to say rest in peace to Ron Rivera's mom for sure. I know that's tough news on him, and I know he's going to be coaching with a heavy heart. So I do respect Ron Rivera, the man and a person, and I think he is a legitimate leader of men. So, and Dave Butts, Washington Redskins legend, he passed away at the age of 72. So just wanted to talk about that real quick too. So, of course, the storylines: Kirk Cousins coming back to Landover, Maryland for the first time since he left in free agency. You like that? I hope we can say that after the game when we beat him. Or if we beat him, when we beat him on Sunday, hope we can say, you like that in his face. That would be hilarious. I would love to say that. But yeah, Kirk, he had an up and down career here. We all remember the terrible interception to Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie with the Giants. We do remember him saying, you like that, of course. He had some good moments and some bad moments. But overall, we'll see what happens with Kirk. Kirk was okay. He was iffy. He just cracked under pressure and cracked in tough moments. I mean, he has some really good offensive weapons. We had a good offense with him. Jamison Crowder, Deshaun, Jordan Reed, Vernon Davis, Pierre Garçon. We had a legitimate offense with Kirk Cousins. So I'm not going to say too much bad about Kirk. It is what it is on that part. So Kevin O'Connell, of course, he's the guy who I wanted to be the offensive coordinator for this team, but it is what it is on that part. He helped make Dwayne Haskins and rest in peace. And the last 2 games Dwayne Haskins played in his rookie year, he looked like an NFL quarterback. He did against the Eagles and against the Giants in those 2 games that Dwayne Haskins plays toward the end of the season. He looked like an NFL quarterback. And I think Kevin O'Connell would have been the best coach for Dwayne Haskins. Maybe it still wouldn't have worked out for Dwayne Haskins. But I think Kevin O'Connell, I just think he's a better offensive coordinator or just a better coach than Scott Turner. I think he would have been the better option. But it is what it is on that part again with Kevin O'Connell. But now he's the head coach of the Vikings. They are 6-1. So, but let's look at the injury report, and then we'll look at the scouting report for the Vikings, and then we'll get into the keys of victory, and then we'll wrap up here. So, injury report, Jahan Dotson is out. That is unfortunate. Coming back from the hamstring injury. Scott Turner, Said he feels good about Jahan Dotson returning soon. Chase Young will be out. I did see that practice video of Chase Young. He didn't look great, to be honest. Didn't look super explosive. Didn't look super spry, to say the least. So I don't know if he's going to be back this week or next week. Like I said, I don't have any expectations for Chase Young this year. I just don't. You know, if he needs to sit out the rest of the year and come back healthy next year, I'm all for it. I really am. Cole Holcomb will be out. That's another big loss. David Mayo will be out. So linebackers, I know they signed Nathan Jerry to the practice squad. I want to say they elevated Dejon Harris. So we're very thin at that linebacker spot. J.D. McKissick is out with a neck injury. We have depth at the running back spot, so I'm hoping that's more carries for Antonio Gibson because he needs more carries. Brian Robinson, he'll get some more carries too, but we need to feed Gibby. We need to feed Gibby. That's one of the keys to the game, keys to victory for Sunday. Questionable Shaka Tony with a calf injury on the other side of the ball or on the other side of the field, our opponent. The Vikings, they don't really have a lot of guys on the injury list. Now, Davlin Tomlinson, I heard that he's going to be out, their defensive tackle, their defensive lineman. He is a stalwart. He's a very good defensive lineman stopping the run. So I heard he's going to be out. Zadarius Smith was a full participant. Adam Thielen, full participant. So they don't really have a lot of injuries. They just don't. So they're pretty darn healthy for the most part. I know their tight end Irv Smith is out, but they traded for TJ Hawkinson. We'll see if he plays on Sunday. So that's the injury report right there. Let's see if there's any news and notes that I got other than that. But yeah, that's basically the injury report right there. Like I said, we'll see what happens with Chase Young. I would love to get Jahan back, but you don't want to rush him back. I think they messed up trying to bring him back a little early, and he tweaked his hamstring. So, all right, let's get to keys to victory. But of course, before we do get to that, this episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Super easy. Use my promo code RealEdOliver. Use the link down in the description box below. First-time users, you deposit $50. PrizePicks will match your deposit with 100%. They will match your deposit of $50. Same thing if you deposit $100, they'll match your deposit. So use the description link down below. The link down below in the description box. You use my promo code RealEdOliver. When you sign up, you download the app. You sign up. You make your picks. It's real easy. You pick 2 to 5 players. So I'm going to give you guys my picks for this weekend for the game. Taylor Heineke, 228.5 passing yards this game. That's his over-under. I'm going to go with over 220. I think he had 279 passing yards against the Colts. Now, the Vikings defense, they are underwhelming. Their pass defense is underwhelming. They're ranked 29th in pass yards allowed per game. They're giving up 275.6 pass yards per game, which is 29th in the NFL. Completion percentage allowed per game. The Vikings are ranked 29th, 68%. Quarterbacks against them are completing 68% of their passes. If you watch the game in London, Andy Dalton had a good game against the Vikings defense. If you watch the Dolphins game, Teddy Bridgewater had a good game against the Vikings pass defense. Kyler Murray was passing the ball up and down the field against the Vikings. He had a couple turnovers, but Rondell Moore was getting busy. DeAndre Hopkins was getting busy. Their pass defense gives up a lot of yards. They play soft coverage. They play a 2-high safety. They don't want to give up anything deep. They're very conservative. They give a lot of cushion, and I think Taylor Heineke is really good with underneath throws, so I would take the over on Taylor Heineke's passing yards. Terry McLaurin has just been a dog. Moss, Stephon Gilmore. This is the next one. I would take the over on Terry McLaurin's receiving yards, 63.5. I would definitely smash the over on that. That's just an easy play right there. I don't see anybody checking Terry. Patrick Peterson is a good corner, but he's getting older, or he is older. I don't see him checking Terry McLaurin. You see what DeAndre Hopkins did to them last week for the Cardinals. And then my last one is, my camera cut off, my phone cut off for some reason. Porzingis 21.5. I'm taking the over. I got him getting 30 points tonight against the Nets. So definitely put those in and let me know how those worked out for you guys. So let's get the keys to victory though. So keys to victory. Right now we got to force a turnover. Actually, you know what? Let me start with coaching. This is what I start with everything. I'll make this quick. Challenges. Ron Rivera's got to be on point with challenges, timeouts. Every time before halftime, I feel like Ron Rivera botches his timeouts or he doesn't use his timeouts. It's almost like he doesn't trust his quarterback, whether it was Wentz or Taylor Heineke. I don't know what it is with Ron Rivera and clock management timeouts. Not even just the end of the first half, but even the end of the games too. So we got to have some urgency. This is on Scott Turner too, just urgency, up-tempo offense. That's what I want to see. I want to see some confidence, man. I want to see some confidence in your quarterback and just clock management. Timeouts, like I already said that. Fourth down decision making as well. I think we should be aggressive on fourth downs this game. We're going to have to score touchdowns and not field goals. This Vikings offense, they have weapons. They have Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, TJ Hawkinson, Dalvin Cook, KJ Osborne. Kirk Cousins is an okay quarterback. They have a solid offensive line as well. So we're gonna have to put up points, man. The Vikings, they can put up points on you, whether the defense forces a turnover or whether the offense is doing it with Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson. So touchdowns, no field goals, but this is gonna come down to coaching for sure. Ron Rivera, excuse me, versus Kevin O'Connell. My other key for the offense, Taylor Heineke. Taylor Heineke, be yourself, man. If you got to run, go ahead and run, man. Be aggressive. I want to see an up-tempo quick game. I want to see a no-huddle game. I want to see a sense of urgency. Taylor Heineke is at his best with up-tempo, no-huddle. That's why he was so good in that 2-minute warning, game-winning throw to Terry McLaurin against the Colts. That's when Taylor Heineke is at his best. I want to see some RPOs. I want to see some design runs. I want to see Scott get creative, roll Taylor Heineke out a little bit, and use his strength. You know, Taylor Heineke, I want to see him run and extend plays. Their defensive line is legit. Zadarius Smith, Daniil Hunter. They have a legit defensive line. They can get after the quarterback. They will pressure the quarterback for sure. So Taylor's going to be ready. He's got to be ready to run. Norwell's got to be ready, man. He's got to play better. Trey Turner's got to play better. Charles Lando's got to be ready. Cornelius Lucas, just the whole offensive line as a whole. They just got to be ready to ball and protect Taylor Heineke. Establish the run. I want to see Gibson get touches in space. I want to see him being used as a dual threat wide receiver, running back. Brian Robinson get his touches. I want to see balance. But if Gibson's having a better game, just ride the hot hand. Ride the hot hand. Let Gibson get as many touches as he can. The guy is a weapon, man. He had that receiving touchdown against the Colts. And I feel like he can do that again against their linebackers this week for sure. Feed Terry McLaurin, man. Easier said than done. But Taylor has been doing a good job of that. And I need Taylor to settle down. And I think he's got the jitters out of him. I think he's more confident than he was in that Packers first half. But I want to see him play under control and play with a lot of confidence, which is what he's been doing. I think he has that magic behind him. And I was thinking this too, like when quarterbacks replace Carson Wentz, you see what Nick Foles did. You see what Jalen Hurts has done. Nick Foles went on a magical run. Jalen Hurts is playing good football now. So typically, for some reason, quarterbacks who replace Carson Wentz, they play well for that season. So, and I think Taylor Heineke, he's just got that magic behind him, and I think he's got something going here with Taylor. I think the players just believe in him, and they really rally behind him. Feed Terry McLaurin. I don't think anybody can check him. Get Curtis Samuel the ball in space. I didn't hear anything about De'Ami Brown. I think the last injury report just came out. So I think De'Ami's playing, if I'm not mistaken. I want them to use him as a weapon too in the passing game. I think he's a guy that can certainly help out with Jahan Dotson not being there. So De'Ami's not on the injury list. Cole Turner's going to be available. He's going to play. That's awesome. Logan Thomas is going to play. So we got some weapons there for sure. Tyler Larson's going to play. Jonathan Allen, of course, he's going to play. But yeah, we got some weapons, man. Spread the wealth. Spread the football out. I think we can get some passing yards in this game, but I do want to establish the run and get balance there for sure. Time of possession, ball control. 4-game winning streak last year. Play keep away if you have to. Run the ball. Long, sustainable drives. Convert on third downs. All right, let's convert to the defensive side of the ball. Force a turnover. Derek Forrest. That was a hell of a forced fumble. That was a great forced fumble by Daron Payne and John Allen on Sam Ehlinger. Daron Payne and John Allen. They got to eat on the interior of the Vikings offensive line. Now, their weakness of their offensive line, Christian Darrisaw, he's been really good out of Virginia Tech. Their other tackle, Brian O'Neill, has been solid, but they have a rookie at right guard, Ed Ingram, Garrett Bradbury. He's had a good season, but he's been iffy throughout his career, and Ezra Cleveland. So the weakness of their offensive line is the interior. So Daron Payne and John Allen, they got to take advantage. I think they're better than their matchup, so they got to eat. John Allen's had a really good year this year. I think Daron Payne, at times, he has looked like an all-pro. He has been very disruptive at times this year. So they got to keep doing their thing. Montez Sweat, need him to be solid this game. Same thing, James Smith-Williams, the other guy, Shaka Toney, F.A. Obata, Ridgeway as well. Stop the run, slow down Dalvin Cook. We have to slow him down and contain him, because if he gets going, it makes it easier for Justin Jefferson. It makes it easier for Kirk Cousins. It makes it easier for Adam Thielen and KJ Osborne as well, and TJ Hawkinson if he does play. I would bracket Justin Jefferson. If you got to double him, it is what it is. He plays in the slot too, so Rashad Wildgoose is going to be a tough matchup for him. Ben St. Juice, Kendall Fuller. I'm concerned about those guys a little bit. I like Ben St. Juice a lot. I think he's our best corner. But Kendall Fuller, he gets cooked a lot. Rashad Wildgoose, he got cooked a couple times last game too with that pass interference, and then he let Michael Pittman get open, where Michael Pittman should have caught the football. So I'm concerned about our corners, but I would bracket Justin Jefferson. You may have to double him and just say, hey, Adam Thielen, you got to beat us. Osborne, you got to beat us. And they certainly can beat us. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But we got to limit big plays. We got to get pressure on Kirk Cousins in the interior, force him to make mistakes, and pressure him and hit him and get to the quarterback. Got to force a turnover, limit big plays. And then that's it for the defense, really. Tressway, special teams player of the month. Shout out to him. Keep doing your thing. Gibson returning kicks. Joey Sly, we need you to be clutch as well. Now, their kicker is pretty darn bad. His name is Greg Joseph. He's missed 3 extra points this year. He's like 65% on field goals. Red zone defense is going to be key. We did a great job. Jamin Davis with that stop. Cam Curl with that stop in the red zone. Derek Forrest. They were huge in the red zone. So red zone defense is a huge key. And red zone offense, of course, touchdowns and not field goals. Greg Joseph, I can see him missing a kick this weekend, but Joey Sly, he's got to be good as well. And that's really all I got. Jordan Hicks has been bad in coverage for their defense as well. And Harrison Smith, he's the 37th ranked safety in PFF. He hasn't been great in coverage as well. But we can't turn over the ball. The Vikings have won 8 games within 1 score. They won a lot of close games. I'm sorry. All their games have been decided within 8 points or less. They're 6-1. All of their games have been decided within 8 points or less. If you watched the Cardinals game last week, they muffed a punt. Kyler Murray turned the football over. It was a very close game. So the Vikings have been very fortunate. We just can't shoot ourselves in the foot. I see it's a very winnable game. If we lose, I say it would be 29-22. If we win, it would be 24-20. I do have us winning, but it's going to be a very close game. It could go either way. I think it's a coin flip. I have us winning this one 24-20. Heineke has a good game. Gibson has a good game. Terry has a good game. Curtis Samuel has a good game. The defense shows up. We get a turnover on Kirk. And we say you like that after the game. So, all right, you guys let me know what you guys think. 24-20, Commanders win. Hopefully we can do the left hand high. Who are we? The Commanders. All right, y'all. Peace. Have a good weekend.